Yeah.
Hey, can't find nothing on the radio. Yo, turn to that station.
Say, kids, what time is it?
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Jeff Lutz.
We should be in the moment, but also it's good to have something to look forward to.
Oh, that's true.
And Jason Duda.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that anything's wrong or anything like that. It's just that you're looking forward to something.
Lesson 1, lose the goatee. Lesson 2, get a suit.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
It's showtime, baby! You go wacko, bananas, nuts, crazy, unbelievable!
Good afternoon and welcome. It is Tuesday. It is Bob and Jeff. It is the second day of the year. It is the first show of the year. And who's not here to celebrate it? I don't know, a lot of people. But who is here to celebrate it? Jason Duda.
Hello.
In the first mate's chair.
Yes.
Most of my notepads from work are in here because I bring them in and then leave them and then have to bring in another one.
Why?
Because I don't have one.
So what does that do? What's your problem? What's your point?
I don't have a point. I just need to take these notepads back to work.
Well, why don't you do that?
Okay.
Wouldn't that be considered stealing?
What are you talking about?
Well, you're stealing notepads from work.
No, you don't steal notepads from work.
Well,
when you're a journalist.
If you took them to work and then brought them here and left them here, shouldn't they be at work?
Doesn't matter where they are. They're my notepads. This isn't. I'm not stealing from work. When you work in the media, the journalism industry,
Yeah.
they provide you paper. Believe it or not, it's crazy.
Max, get me a bunch of paper. I want to take it with me.
There's some in there.
I want like 6 notepads. Oh, I want one of those too. I need one of those for the house.
There's some paper in there.
I need to use them for work at the house so I can remind myself what to do.
Right? You can
Sweet.
take those.
I didn't know that.
Of course.
Well, that's something someone should have told me what.
You didn't know there was a whole stack
20
of
years ago
papers in
when I started
in this room 5 feet away from you?
No, when I started in the media 20 years ago. Why didn't somebody tell me this? How about pens?
What was Cake up to at that time?
I don't know. There was lots of paper there.
You didn't take any?
I didn't feel like I should take any.
Well, you weren't.
I didn't think it was mine.
You weren't like a legitimate. Never mind. All right.
Yeah, be careful. What are you gonna say? Yeah, thanks, Max.
Ooh, you get a pen too?
I got a pen
from the Buzz.
Yeah, I'm good to go now.
You should be.
I'm
fine.
good for about 25 years with that.
I mean, look at all this paper over here. These yellow legal pads. These white legal pads.
Where are they from?
I don't know.
Oh,
probably here, if I had to guess.
Very interesting.
I don't know if we offer yellow legal pads anymore.
I don't know.
That was when, the heyday.
The heyday?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So here's a question.
Hit me.
This is one of those things that everybody knows, but nobody really knows, right? So we were talking about the lottery when right before we came on the air, right?
We were.
Someone in Michigan won $850 million, give or take. Just won that, right?
Yes, they did.
So are that many people playing the lottery? Because in 2 weeks, it'll be back up to $600 million. Where do they get all this money from?
Well, you got everybody spending.
But you know a whole lot of people who play the lottery, who buy these.
I buy them once in a while.
Once in a while.
I don't buy them every week, but once in a while, if I'm at the QT getting gas or a coffee, give me $10 and whatever.
But
Megas
those
or
will usually be your
Powerballs.
scratch offs.
No, I rarely buy scratch offs, or if we're going on we got to go up to Kansas City or something, buy a few for something to do on the way up, that kind of thing. But I don't really buy scratch offs just to buy a scratch off.
You buy the Powerball, the
I'll
Mega
buy
Millions.
The Powerball or the Megas.
Here's a sidebar question. Have you ever once checked your ticket?
Always.
Really?
Yep. Because I normally keep it in the car, so when I go in for a coffee, half the time they'll be there for 2 weeks.
Right.
Then I'll remember it's there. Then I'll take it in and check it.
And have you ever won any substantial amount?
Absolutely not.
That you wouldn't be here.
But sometimes I'll win enough to buy my coffee.
Even if you won $150, I can see you kind
I've
of
never
just
won that.
riding off into
I've
the
never
sunset.
won that on a Powerball. The most I've ever won on a Powerball or Mega is like, I don't know, $10.
You
$8.
you play the plier?
No.
You play the plier. I hit the ball, you get $12. Righteous bucks.
So you get 12.
If
So
you
you're
play,
getting
it's
6 to
3
1.
bucks.
So
Yeah,
you get,
$3.
How much does it cost?
And if you get an extra buck, so if you hit the
So you
Powerball,
get 12 to 1. You're getting 12 to 1 to hit the Powerball, and there's how many balls? 60?
Sure.
So there's 60 out there, but you spend that extra dollar, you only get 12 to 1 odds. That's terrible.
but if you get it's $12 if you just get the Powerball.
Yeah, but you're only getting 12 to 1 on that bet when your odds are 60 to 1 that it's going to hit. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
I don't know. But
That's absolutely off. That's just here's another dollar for you.
That goes into my question, though, right?
What's the question?
Because a lot of people are hitting the Powerball and getting $12. That takes away. That's more money that the lottery has to give. So they're giving out money.
No, they're not. I just explained that to you. They're giving out $12, right? But
they're
there's
giving
60.
out-
There's 60 balls that are available.
No, I'm not talking about that.
So all those people that are buying that, they're winning. If you to do the math and over time, 40. They're getting out of the $60 that are spent on that. They're paying 12 out and getting 48.
Oh, okay. I understand. I'm not talking about the odds, or I'm just talking about where does this money come from? Because for one example, a lot of people hit the Powerball, right? So even if you bought 20 tickets and 12 won the Powerball, that's still you're sending out $144 to all those people. Where do these billions, hundreds of billions, come from?
They're sending because
Hundreds of millions.
Because just on that, they're making $48 every time someone hits one. That's your odds.
No, you're losing $48.
How are you losing $48?
I don't know, but let's just
Okay, look at it like this. There's 60 balls, and I don't know if there's 60, but we'll say 60. I know that's close. So there's 60 balls, right?
if it's one
So just a minute. So say everybody buys a Powerball and does the multiplier, that's $1. So there's $60 in there, right? How many times it only hits one number, right?
Okay.
So that's $12. They've got 60.
But 12
They're paying out 12. They're keeping 48 every single time around the country.
No, but-
just on that one.
No,
not
if
on
they're-
all of them.
No, listen. They're paying 144 because they're giving 12 to 12 different people.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, but
Jeff.
then that's 12. That's $720 they're getting in, paying out 144.
Are you sure?
Oh yes, I'm
All right.
sure.
Where did you graduate from?
It's basic numbers, Jeff. If there's 60 tickets bought and everybody has a different Powerball number, and that one number hits, how much does that person get?
$12.
And how much have everybody spent to pay that person $12?
I don't know.
Well, $1, 60 times is what?
But the
$60.
12,
Oh my God.
Yeah, but here's where it is, Jeff.
This is This is painful.
was-
It's basic math using two numbers.
It was $842 million.
Right.
The payout was $425.2. You take the payout because you probably won't live long enough to.
but they have to have it to cover it,
So
right?
yes, so there's 2 million winners that had the match 5 plus Powerball, and just the match 5 is $1 million winners.
No one's answering the question.
So if you take the payout,
Where's it
they
all come
keep
from?
half
It
of
comes from everybody buying them.
If you take the payout, so at 842 and 425, they're 400 million stays with them.
But isn't our lottery money also used for like
Supposed
tax
to go to
purposes
schools
and stuff?
Yeah, I don't think it does.
Yeah, so but you buy $10 and you don't win. You know how many people do that?
Probably not 60 million.
Hundreds of thousands.
But okay, I mean, I guess if you think it works out, the math, then I guess the math.
The math's
works
there.
out.
I bet if when I spend 10, I'm lucky to win 2 every month. So I'm collecting $2, spending 48, or spending 5. Say there's 5 weeks. I buy 5 times in a month. That's $50. I win 2. There's $48 donated from me. How many people do you think do that over a month?
I don't know.
Like
I'm
a casino.
not
Hundreds
saying
and hundreds of
I'm
thousands.
not saying the lottery's losing money. Obviously
no,
not.
they're not.
But how are they making $1 billion every month? Is what I'm asking.
Because people buy tickets. That goes into a big pot. That's how much money's there. They take out their cut. There you go. That's
And you got
what's
to pay
left.
everybody who works for the lottery. I mean,
Well, that's why they got to take their cut out of it. and then the rest goes to taxes if you win.
It boggles my mind that there's just that much money just floating around, and we can give it to somebody. Why not?
Absolutely.
Do something else with it. You know how many problems we could solve?
Well, we'll just spend more money somewhere else to cause another problem somewhere else. So what the hell? Might as well make somebody happy every week.
Or we could make a lot of people happy every day.
Very good. It could very well.
Go to Powerball, they'll give you the list of how many winners of everything.
I don't care about that.
I mean,
Jeff's worried about where all the money comes that you can pay out $840 million.
942,906 people won $4.
That's a lot of people.
And there was
900,000 people won $4.
246,000 won $12.
Math.
How many? Say 250.
246.
So that's another $3 million.
310
He's
won
amazing
12.
at this.
And then $4 was 104,127 people won 12, and then it keeps going up.
Yeah, so you're at about $6.6 million just on those.
Yeah, it's like a casino, you know.
Well, yeah, of course it is.
They didn't build those on winners.
No,
Well,
why do
good
you
for
think the
them.
lottery is always around? Because they can't pay this out?
I know they
The problem
can,
is, the reason why they're around is because it's pretty easy for them to pay it out.
but I just don't know a whole lot of people who are just buying tickets. And I don't know a
Go
lot
to
of
the
people in
go
general.
to a QT or a quick shop and stand there for an hour and see how many people just
Maybe
in
I will.
Wichita will buy tickets
I just might do
at that one location.
Okay.
And then multiply that by what in the city? 50, 80? And that's just in Wichita. Then go to your big centers like L.A. and New York.
I like
And
you to
then
say centers.
Nuts.
Okay, good enough.
Crazy numbers. A lot of money floating around. A lot of money.
A lot of money. Okay, here's the show today. 245, Jeff Buchanan. He's the Andale basketball coach. They're 4-0. Did you know high school basketball starts up again tonight?
They got games tonight?
They got games tonight. Andale plays Nickerson.
Well, there you go.
That's a big one.
I know the Mays plays Friday. They're on the road Friday.
It's not really a big one. Nickerson's 0-5.
Should be a shellacking.
Should, but we'll find out.
Never know.
Who does Mays have Friday?
They're on the road. I can't remember where they're going. Andover Central, maybe.
That'd be good.
Would be interesting.
$325 a game. Who will have it? What will it be?
It's Tuesday. We know who will have
Nobody
it.
knows.
We know who has games on Tuesday.
Who?
Jeffrey.
I do.
That's the way it works. If I'm in on Friday, I'll have a game.
Well, you were in on Friday, weren't you? Didn't we have
No,
a
I
three-man
was
booth?
Wednesday, Thursday. And I had a game.
On Friday?
On Thursday. I wasn't in Friday. I was in Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, and you had an impromptu game.
I did.
It was a fun game.
It was.
What did you watch yesterday?
I watched some football.
The college football?
I
Obviously,
watched
that was
part
all
of
that was
the
on.
First game, part of the second game. Washington they didn't give him a chance.
Well, at the end they did.
Well, a little bit, but I thought Texas would win that game. They did not.
They did not.
I
How did our picks go on those two games, Max?
I was 1-1.
I think I was 0-2. I'm pretty sure I had Alabama and Texas.
I had Michigan and Texas, I think I had. Mine were not good. I didn't hit any of the
Duda and I
NFL
had
games.
Michigan for 8. You had Bama, and Bob had Bama, and you both had Texas. Bob and I had Washington for 1.
So did anyone get both of them correct?
No.
No,
No one did?
no.
4 guys, 1-1.
That's crazy.
I can't believe Georgia scored 63 points. Oh, my God.
I
Did
can't.
anybody
Can I
on
see
Florida
the-
State show up?
No one for Florida State was even at the game. I had
That
27
line
points
opened.
this
That
week.
line
That's
opened
awesome.
at 14 and closed at 20. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, it should have closed at 49.5. Duda still in last.
Well, of
Max
course.
now in second. Is that right?
He cannot do math. We just went over this for
Well,
those whole
I don't
segment.
think Max can. Maybe you should be running the picks because we know that you'll be finishing last. So it's like you can kind of just write that off.
That's true. Isn't that's
But
true?
you do the math well.
Yeah,
So
At least I'm willing
That
to give
seems
up the
to work.
books, Jeff.
that's true.
well, my dad has the books. He does it. I mean, he has a accounting of every week.
You say he cooks them.
Oh,
he
they're-
might.
I've been pencil whipped in this for years.
But I have a hard time believing that that you were ahead of me last week, because now you're ahead of me by 10, and you only beat me by 6 this week. So that doesn't make any sense. I was pretty sure I was in second.
Those are the numbers.
Week. Those are his numbers.
Those are the numbers.
We don't have official numbers.
They're official.
Can we just basically agree?
I don't want nothing to do with the books.
Can we just basically agree that we don't really have official numbers? We have 2 sets of unofficial numbers.
I have all the scores of the games next to the games, too.
He's got them all.
I know, but
somebody wants to go through them all. Max is good like that. So I got Max. I'll take his word for it.
We've also found you to have missed a couple. And we found Bob to have missed a couple.
Well, they missed more than a couple for me, more like 2 dozen.
But I corrected it if I missed it.
I don't know. It seems like if 2 people are keeping picks, keeping the numbers, they should be identical.
Well, they're
and
not.
I don't think they are.
They're not.
So who do you trust?
Nobody.
Nobody.
You trust nobody.
That's pretty much it.
I trust that I play, and whatever happens, happens, and I'm okay with it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, we're not really playing for anything.
No, there's nothing on the line.
Maybe we should put something on the line. And maybe everyone should do
everybody be keeping track of everything, man. Then it'd be a mess. I got this, I got that. That would be nothing but a fight, which would be good.
It would be good.
It would be.
That would add to the show.
Absolutely,
no question about it. Man, I wanted to talk about the championship game, but now we only have 3.5 minutes. So let's just wrap up the weekend real quick, and then we can get into specifics. We'll wrap up the weekend from a personal standpoint.
Okay, go
ahead.
How
was your New Year? What'd you do over the weekend?
A bunch of us got together, went over to my brother and sister-in-law's, just kind of hung out. I barely made it to midnight. I can't do it anymore.
I made it to like 1:30.
Oh, that's impressive.
I don't know what was going on.
That's impressive. I can't do it. I go to bed too early, and that midnight is just no good. Threw off the last 2 days, tried to stay up, couldn't sleep in. Hate it.
Well, when you have 2 3-day weekends in a row, that's like 8 naps for me.
That's a lot.
So you can power through the midnight thing. I mean, you're wide awake at that point.
Well, a good player like yourself, for sure.
Max, what did you do over the weekend?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nope. Didn't leave the house.
Didn't leave the house. That's impressive.
Except when I came here to do Guy Bauer. That's
okay.
it.
I went to Dave & Buster's. That was Friday? What day was New Year's Eve?
Sunday.
Okay, so that must have been Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Dave & Buster's. Dominate. Have you play the game? Do you go to Dave & Buster's?
Yeah.
Do you play the game where you throw
and knock down the clowns?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Do you play the one where you throw at the plates, the fake, obviously digital plates? Do you play that one?
No, I haven't played that one.
You can get a lot of tickets that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you should do it.
All right.
It's fun.
Right.
And then Sunday, Outback Steakhouse for New Year's Eve.
Oh, what'd you have?
Steak. I still have it in my fridge, in fact. Probably not as good 2 days later.
So, no, with steak, now what you do is you cut it up and you make steak sandwiches out of it.
Really?
Yeah. All you got to do is put some toast, put some butter on the toast, a little bit of garlic powder, cut the steaks into thin slices, just warm them up just a little bit, throw it on the bread, add a little, if you like HP or Heinz 57 on it. Oh, fantastic.
All right.
Well, I do it all the time. I always make an extra steak when I'm cooking steaks just so I can have steak sandwiches for a couple days during the week.
I'll consider it.
No, you should.
I'm doing the New Year's resolution thing, trying to eat better. Got on this little meal plan. Have you ever been over to Perfect Plate on Mays Road, 53rd and Mays?
No.
It's a good place. I don't know if it would
How long do you think this will last?
I don't know. How long do you think it'll last?
6 weeks.
That's pretty good.
That wouldn't be bad.
Maybe 2 months. So if I'm in the middle of February, should I just end it? I mean,
I don't even know if you'll get there. I don't know if you'll get there.
Why not?
I just don't think you'll get there.
It's hard.
I know it is. That's why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it to be a donkey. I'm saying it because it's hard.
It is hard. Because the day you think, I got a light lunch, then your boss brings in pizza. Like, how are you not going to eat pizza? I can't fathom
exactly
pizza being in your presence and not eating it. It's freaking pizza.
Or you have people over and they bring desserts. What are you going to do?
Well, no one's ever come to our house, but you're invited.
Oh, well, thanks. That's awfully kind of you.
But I recommend
if I ever have time to drive an hour out west, I'll stop by.
I recommend Perfect Plate. If you're looking to cut calories, do anything like that. It's gluten-free. They give you vegetables. It's all wonderful.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
It's good to know.
Thank you. We'll take a break right now. we will come back and probably talk some actual sports, although who knows?
You never know with us.
It could turn in any direction. Max Powers here. He's our producer and engineer, Jason Duda. I'm Jeff Lutz. This is Bob and Jeff on KFH.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Can we talk about
Pretty
deciding the semifinals of the final 4-team college football playoff
Sure, what's on your mind?
with college overtime rules? Am I the
Okay.
only person talking about this? When that's the case, that means it's probably nothing. But it's still distasteful to me. I get it, same rules for both teams, but that's not football. That is not football. I've had this conversation. We've probably talked about this on the show before. That is not football. Your thoughts?
My thoughts and they're going to expand, obviously, that if they go to overtime, they should probably do something like the NFL does.
Right.
I think that's
Especially
I think that's what they should
I don't
do.
mind you deciding Wisconsin, Maryland on October 17th in college overtime rules.
That's
but this
fine.
is the dang semifinals of your sport.
Yeah, they should be playing it out as far as I'm concerned. Because even in the NFL, they're going to play. They play it out.
Exactly.
You know, if 10 minutes and it's still tied, they got to keep playing. So I like the fact that they should move it to like what the NFL does. If you score, you win. If you stop them, then you score anything, you win. I think they should move it to that. Because starting on the 25, like you said, during the regular season, I'm fine with that.
Absolutely.
That's fine. But when it comes down to it and you're going to play for a national championship, play it out. I think. I agree.
100%. So we have no argument there.
What
What do you want to argue
That's not
about?
fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick something else then.
I don't know that I have anything. I thought we might get into that a little bit, but
I don't know how because it
you're-
doesn't. No, I agree with you. I don't want to see. I mean, the Michigan. It was a good game. It was fun to watch.
Great game.
But I would have liked to have seen them play it out rather than.
That's so anticlimactic too, right? I mean, I get it at the end. It's the end, right? You got to get into the end zone. Alabama had to score on 4th and goal. We get that. That's just like the end of a game. But it's like, okay, now we stop and we'll just put the ball somewhere. No kickoff.
And what are
no-
they doing, trying to run that up the middle and against that defense
Well,
from
that
the
was really
3.5
stupid.
yard line?
Well, I've read, and I don't know. Like, I'm not Mr. Football technique guy. I'm not breaking down the film, the X's and O's. So I can only read. And I
Yes.
read that it was a run pass option, and basically he had the run
He
or the
didn't-
pitch, basically just there, and probably could have gone to that for a score.
Well, either way, I agree with you. I don't like it, but it's the way it's been. It's the way it's been forever. So, not like totally against it, but I'd rather them see it play it out in the playoffs. Play it out. Play it out.
Who has the momentum going into the national championship game between Washington and Michigan? Do you know that, by the way, this is a conference matchup next year, Washington and Michigan? They play next year
Oh,
in the Big Ten.
that's right. Interesting.
They have a game against one another, as did Michigan and Texas. So they play both of the two of the final four.
Michigan
other
and
three
Texas?
teams. Michigan plays Texas next year.
Yeah, but that's not the same conference.
No, it's not the same conference.
Oh, you're just saying they play each other.
They just have a game against each other. So who has momentum was the question.
I don't know if either. I don't think either has more momentum than the other one.
It just has to play out during the game.
It's going to play out.
Okay, that's good.
There'll be a play during the game that switches it, and then away they go. I don't know who it's going to be. It's basically offense against defense. You got one of the best defenses in Michigan going against one of the best offenses in Washington. Who's going to break first?
I'm
what
going
and-
to pick Washington. to
And
win.
normally, if you ask anybody what wins, defense or offense, everyone's going to say defense.
Yeah, I don't say that. Can you listen to this? Here's Michigan's conference schedule this year. The Big Ten schedule: Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan State, Purdue, Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State. That was their conference schedule this year.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not really.
They played Penn State and Ohio State. Good. Next year, their conference schedule is USC, Minnesota, Washington, Illinois, Michigan State, Oregon, Indiana, Northwestern, and Ohio State.
A little tougher.
Little tougher.
Little tougher.
When you add USC, Oregon, and Washington.
How many teams are they going to next year for the playoffs?
12?
Are they going right to 12?
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? What have they come out with? Like, if you just win the conference in the Power 5, you're automatically in, and then like just wild card spots.
Here's
Is that
how
what
it
they're
works.
doing?
The new 12-team college football playoff field will include the 6 highest-ranked conference champions. They will receive automatic bids. The top 4 teams will receive a first-round bye to the quarterfinals. The 6 highest-ranked teams remaining will round out the 12-team format. So you have 6 conference champions.
What's the other conference that's getting in? If you have 6 conference, you got the
6
Power 5. Who's the other one?
Whatever the next conference champion is. So this year it would have been
Liberty?
It would have been Liberty. They would have been in the college football playoff. That's good, though, right? Don't you kind of want one kind of Cinderella story? SMU was ranked 1 spot below Liberty. I don't see any others. Yeah, that's it. Just Liberty.
So they get in then 6 wild cards.
Yes.
So you're going to have a bunch of SEC, Big 10, and the Big 12. You're going to have they're going to, obviously, those are going to be the other 6.
So try to figure this out. Here's what the 12-team playoff would have been this year. 5-12 was Florida State Liberty.
Liberty could have won that game.
What would that game have looked like?
Because Florida State had no quarterback. They couldn't score any points. If Liberty could have put up 20, they might have won that game.
But Liberty didn't score against Oregon.
That's what I'm saying. They had to put up 20. I don't know if they could have.
I don't know if they could have either because Florida State's defense is good. Number 8 and 9, Oregon, Missouri. Who wouldn't have wanted to watch that game?
That would have been a barn burner, that one.
And then the other 2 were conference matchups. Ole Miss, Georgia, and Penn State, Ohio State. And the top 4 are Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama, of course. You take that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of extra games if you're end up 5-12. You could play 3 more games after you're done.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone. It just drops off at 5, doesn't it? I mean, Georgia could probably beat all the teams.
I think 8 is enough. I think 12's too many.
Yeah, because does Penn State need to be in the at 10? I get it. If you're the 10th best team in college basketball, you have a really good chance of winning it.
Yeah.
But 10 in college football, that's no.
No.
Ole Miss wasn't going to win the national championship. Missouri certainly wasn't. Probably.
Liberty wasn't.
Liberty was not. Oregon, maybe. But
the only other team that's not in the top 4 was Georgia.
Correct.
That could have won it.
They could have beat
anybody.
Ole Miss, Texas, and then Michigan.
Yeah, and they can win all those games. No question about it.
Absolutely.
I just think 12's too many. I think it'll make for good TV. They'll sell them all out. It'll be blah, blah, blah. You'll have Pop-Tarts falling all over the place.
Yes.
I mean, it'll be
one
good
of those
for
has
that.
to be the Pop-Tarts Bowl, right?
Oh, you
one
would
of
think.
those games?
You would think. But what about the Big 12 then? You know, you're losing Oklahoma and Texas.
Yes.
Kansas and K-State got to be pretty relevant right now in Big 12 football.
Of course. Although I saw some early rankings where KU would have been picked 4th.
Right now?
Yes.
With the new conference alignment.
Right. So they'd be behind, I think, now I can't even remember, but West Virginia was ranked ahead of them. And a couple other teams. So they would have been 4th.
It'll be interesting to see how that all pans out.
Utah, Arizona, I think were also ranked ahead. So, yeah, Utah, Arizona, West Virginia, and then KU at 4.
Where was K-State?
They were not in the early top 25 that I saw, but I assume they would probably be right below KU.
I would think.
So the conference is still going to be good.
It's still a decent conference, even though I know you're losing Texas, Oklahoma. Those are 2 huge schools, but Arizona coming in helps. Utah's still pretty decent. Should be pretty good.
Here's what I'm going to do right now.
What are you going to do?
Completely off the cuff. I'm going to predict the 12 teams that will be in the college football playoff next year.
Whoa.
You want to help me?
Okay.
All right, who's going to be your first conference champion?
Georgia.
Georgia is okay. No sim gym? You want to do the sim gym?
Oh. Do we have time?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Man, this was a great idea that we could have used the sim gym for. I'm going to pick the next conference champion, and I don't know who it's going to be. Dang. Who is it?
Well,
who's going to win the Big Ten or the SEC or the Big 12 next year?
Well, I think Georgia wins the SEC.
ACC. Who wins that?
Oof.
Florida State. I'll put them in, but I'll put them in at 4.
Probably got to go back to Ohio State. I don't like that, but
I don't know, who's their quarterback?
Well, that's just I don't know who's going to be quarterback any of those teams. Are they coming out? Are they staying? Are they going? I don't know. But Ohio State always has one guy that plays for 1 year and then goes to the NFL. So I'll take them just on that merit alone. Big 12. Who's going to win the Big 12?
I don't know.
No clue. Honest, I'm sitting here and I couldn't pick out.
Do you really?
I couldn't even give you the top 2.
Do you really want to trust Arizona or Utah?
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I can't even give you 2. I'd almost think KU or K-State, one of those 2 might be there. And I'm actually feel pretty decent about saying that.
Okay, let's put who? KU or K-State?
I don't know.
Or Arizona or Utah or West Virginia.
Well, put Alabama in there because they're going to end up if it's 12 teams, Alabama's finishing in the top 12.
Here's a just completely arbitrary.
How about just
top
pick
25 for next year? There isn't a Big 12 team. There's no way this is real. Until number 24, Baylor. That's
Baylor.
What? I don't believe. I'm not taking that. I don't like that.
What are you looking at?
Here's one. Not really. It's hard to find preseason rankings for next year. There are a few people who have done it. I guess I'm going to go Utah, but I'm going to put them at 5.
Put Alabama at 6.
They can't be 6.
Why not? Oh, because you put them at 7 then.
I'm going to make you pick the other conference.
What do you mean the other conference?
The 6th best conference.
Just put
champion.
the teams that we know are going to Alabama, Michigan. They're both going to be in. They're going to finish in the top 12.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Michigan, who has to play USC, Ohio State, Oregon, and Washington next year.
So that's a good point.
How do you?
Well, pick out of those teams. Who are you going to take?
Oregon.
Is Nick's coming back? He's going to the draft.
No, they got Dylan Gabriel, who was at Oklahoma.
Well, I don't know who's all going to end up back or transfer. I have no idea.
I'm going to put Oregon in there.
All right.
I'm going to put Ole Miss in there.
Then you got to put a team in like Liberty or one of those other teams that's going to snag that 6th spot.
Yeah, I know. Who's 3, though?
From where?
That would be from the
Big 12? No, you already got them in.
SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12. What are we missing?
What are we missing? Well, there's no pack anymore.
No.
So how does that? So it's not a Power 5?
It's not a Power 5.
Is it a Power 4 now?
Yeah, I guess.
So it's only a Power 4. That's why we're missing it because they're not going to be around.
So Florida. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to revisit this.
What about Notre Dame?
Are they going to be in the top 12?
I don't know.
Probably. Yeah.
If we got to pick 12, this is not again. This isn't easy.
We have to revisit this. We have to come back to this.
We got to come back
because
to it after we know what's going on.
conferences.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So who's getting what? Who gets the top 6?
2 terrible teams are going to have to be
5
in
and 6.
That's what we're going to have to figure out.
And those 2 teams are going to get 5 and 6, and they're going to end up playing like a.
Somebody's going to crush them.
If you got Oregon in there, then say Ohio State finishes 12, they're going to have to play Oregon State because there's a good chance they're going to get 3 from a lot of those conferences now.
Yeah.
With 12 teams.
Is Texas? I mean, we'll talk about it. This is going to be insane.
What about Texas? How do you not have Texas in there?
These conferences are ridiculous. But
I'm confused.
Well, yeah, think
My
about
head
it.
hurts. I didn't come in here to get a headache.
But
Normally, it's just from you. Now you got me thinking about all this stuff.
You did the math with no problem.
Math's easy. If you only got 2 or 3 digits to work with, it's simple.
Pretend like this is a math problem. We're just counting to 12. With
We're counting to 12, but how many teams do we got to deal with?
a bunch.
Yeah,
50?
probably.
Maybe.
There's a good chance.
All right, stay with us. We're going to talk to Jeff Buchanan, the Andale basketball coach, when we come back. And then we're going to try to figure out this college football playoff for 2024. 12 teams. A lot harder than it is with 4.
It is.
It should be easier,
No,
but it's not.
It's not.
All right, let's go to the hotline where Jeff Buchanan is. He's the boys basketball coach at Andale. Andale 4-0, playing Nickerson tonight. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We are doing fantastic. So they're making you play on January 2nd, and you guys don't even go back to school for almost a week. What's the deal?
Well, yeah, we got 2 games here this week before we have a day of school next Monday. So, we only play 4 games before break. It generally mainly because of our football team, doing so well each and every year. So we kind of get a late start, and that allows us to kind of get our legs under us a little bit and not be crowded with too many games. And then, but on the back end, after Christmas, man, we're playing every Tuesday, Friday that's available, along with the midseason tournament. So there's no breaks in the second half of the season here.
Coach, what are how many practices can you squeeze in there in between? Obviously, you don't even have school, but you got to play on a Tuesday. So how does it work with the break and that sort of thing, and trying to make sure kids are home for Christmas, or if they got to travel and that sort of thing? It's got to be a bit of a nightmare, doesn't it?
Well, a little bit. Our last day of school was December 20th. And so we practiced that 20th, and then we practiced the next morning, the 21st, that Thursday. And then we gave them the rest of the time off. We didn't start practicing again until Keisha allowed us. Keisha wouldn't allow us to practice the 24th through the 28th. Those were mandatory days off. So our guys got really a short practice in on the 21st, but had that from that morning on through the end of the 28th. We started practicing the 29th. So they got a good week off to kind of recoup and let the bodies heal a little bit. So really we've had practices Friday, Saturday. We had a kind of a walk-through, run-through on Sunday, then a practice yesterday. So really 3 practices, 3.5 practices, and we're off and running again.
Jeff Buchanan, our guest, Andale boys basketball 4-0, going into to tonight's game against Nickerson. So what do you think is ultimately better for your team? Is it kind of the late start and then, like you said, kind of recouping, healing the body, or is it just playing, like you said, every Tuesday and Friday and getting in that flow? What do you think is ultimately better?
Well, what fits us the best is the later start. Only having the 4 games allows us to get some practices in, allows guys to get their legs going, and then allows us to establish everything we're wanting to do fundamentally, both offensively and defensively. And then I like it here in the second half of the season because you were an athlete, you understand. As the season goes on, you want to play. You don't want to practice, you want to play, and so it makes it great because. Our guys get that. They get to play and a ton in January and February. So, I like it this way because, in the past when we had maybe 6 or 7 games before Christmas, you would end up with a full week off or something in late January, early February sometimes. And, that's just not a whole lot of fun. It is a benefit, though, if you have some injuries, guys get healed. But I think that's why we've tried to increase our depth as much as we have, play 9 guys, sometimes 10. And that allows for if there's a guy banged up or needs a night off, we can squeeze it in and still have guys there to pick it up.
I appreciate you, Coach, kind of recalling back to my athletic days and things like that. Duda cannot relate. So sorry, Jason, we're kind of getting into some different stuff, but what do you have?
Yeah, thanks, Coach. I appreciate that. You're going to make the last hour here just hell for me.
Well, I figured, I'd throw in a few extra talking points when I get off the phone. You guys can hash out the glory days.
Yeah, that's fantastic. 2 days into the new year and you're throwing this at me. I'd like to say I wish you the best tonight, but I'm not sure if I can right now after that comment. Coach, I'm just curious. Obviously, you mentioned with the football and that sort of thing. I'm sure you got some crossover with guys that play football and play basketball. Is it tough for you to know who's going to be there? Because obviously there's injuries and everything else. When you're looking at the roster and you're kind of waiting, is that one of the main reasons why you like having a light start?
Well, I mean, we do. We have a lot of crossover guys. And you bring that up with football. Our one of the guys that comes off the bench for us, Carson Butts, just got named to the Shrine Bowl, which is an awesome honor. So we're real happy for him. But, as a whole, we love it when these guys are playing football or running cross country and then come right into basketball and have that multi-sport athlete. I think that's what makes a school like ours with the size successful, is when you get guys bought into multiple sports. So, it doesn't matter if you're what you're doing. There's always a chance for injury. If you're an athlete, there's a chance for injury. If you are even a one sport guy, and you're at the Y or you're doing workouts, hey, there's still a chance for injury. So I'd rather see guys out competing with their teammates, having fun, playing multi-sports, and, heaven forbid if an injury happens, nobody likes it. We hate it. But basketball season is a nice long season, that goes from November all the way, hopefully till March. And there's time to heal up. You may miss a few games here or there, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I want guys to play. I want them to go compete. And if that means, we have to plug some holes early on while guys heal up, then I'm perfectly fine with that.
That's how I felt, Coach, when I was an athlete. I tried to take as good a care of my body as possible, but you're right. Injuries could happen at any time.
Injuries never happened for you. You played basketball, you played the perimeter, and didn't play defense, so there was nothing that was going to hurt you there. And then in baseball, you probably played left field and then asked not to bat, just in case you got hit with the ball.
That's true. Talking with Jeff Buchanan, Andale boys basketball coach. You mentioned football, and I know that's kind of the style of Andale. You've got you don't have a ton of size usually, but you have guys who are good athletes. Is that the case this year? And tell us about some of your personnel.
Yeah, we do. We have some length. We have some quickness. Got some guys with some grit and toughness, and they've shown that those first 4 games where, we had to come back from a double-digit deficit against Valley Center game 1 there in the second half, and so they got guys that really can just buckle down and get every ounce of athleticism out of them, and that translates from one sport to the other, but. Right now we're being led scoring-wise by Austin Ballman, Jr. He's doing a heck of a job, shot the ball really well. And but, other guys are benefiting from that because, that perimeter gets going and the inside gets open a little bit for Bo Kaiser and Carson Butts and those guys. So, all around we do. We have good senior leadership. We got great juniors. We got sophomores starting for us as well. But we've got a nice mix of guys that are really contributing a lot to this overall team. Probably our biggest leader right now, Paxton Specs, our second in our scoring. He's been phenomenal. He is a guy that in the off season had to have surgery on a shoulder, couldn't play football, so he's just been healing up and get going here, and so hopefully he can continue out this season healthy. But he's been doing a phenomenal job leading for us, so hopefully that continues as well this season.
Well, you mentioned Paxton and Austin. Who else is stepping up for you, or you expect to step up after, the second half here, a little bit more in the second half? But give us some of your players that you're looking forward to seeing out there on the court.
Well, another guy, Sam Hart, he was the quarterback of the football team. He's our point guard. He got to play about a minute last year, 30 seconds into his freshman season, minute into the season. He goes up, tries to block a shot, and basically breaks his ankle and doesn't hardly get to play last year. So he's starting for us point guard. He's learned a lot those first 4 games, and it's been great. Michael Broughton's another senior, great shooter. Has really come on the defensive side and rebounding more than anything, and that's been surprising people a lot. And it's we're getting a lot out of him that we've been working on here in the off season. So he's been doing a great job. And like I mentioned, Bo Kaiser was another great football player that is helping us inside. Very explosive kid. He's a junior. And then coming off the bench, Harrison Patusik has provided us an unbelievable spark. He did it against Valley Center. He did it against Collegiate. And really kind of turned the tide when he comes in off the bench. And then Carson Butts was a young man that played his freshman year, didn't play sophomore, junior, got bigger, stronger, faster, really likes football, wants to go on and play some football. And we got him out this year, and he's been a great addition to the basketball team. Good size, big old strong kid that's explosive and plays hard, really, really hard. And then we got other sophomores stepping up that are getting good minutes. Jack Horsch, Hunter Grimes, they're doing a good job of coming in off the bench and getting good minutes. So the depth is there, the athleticism is there, and we just got to get some execution, and things will look good.
So before we let you go, what do you think of the league? You already have wins in Division IV over Collegiate and Clearwater. That Collegiate one was big. Obviously, you play them again in February. You've got Wellington and El Dorado coming up here just within the next 10 days or so. So what's the league looking like early on to you?
Well, I think and that's the thing. The league is tough. Rose Hill, we got them Friday, and they got a big win over Wellington. And Wellington's a good team. They're big, they're long, have a lot of explosiveness on the offensive end that can get some scoring and rebounding in. So they're going to be tough as well. Clearwater's young. They're going to keep getting better as the season goes on. They play their tails off, play hard. New coach is doing a good job there. So, it's not going to be an easy night no matter who you're playing. And the schedule as a whole, it's tough. We're going to get some good competition out of each of these teams. And anytime you play, you got a target on your back, and teams want to come get you for one reason or another. So we're going to have to play well each and every night. That's for sure.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate it. Congratulations on the 4-0 start, and more importantly, thanks for allowing me to kind of relive what I did back in the day. And
we didn't even get out of the segment, and it started.
Duda, I had to help him out a little bit. Everybody knows your past. Things weren't documented as well back in Jeff's past, so I had to help him out a little bit.
I appreciate that. Good luck.
Well, he's documented it himself.
Good
That's
luck.
the problem, Coach.
Good luck tonight, Coach. We appreciate it.
All the best.
I appreciate it.
All right, see you. Man, that was nice of him, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, your favorite interview of the year for sure.
That
one might last the whole year for you.
Right when he said you were an athlete, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm over here going,
really
no, great. Here we go.
I was truly an athlete. Still am in a lot of respects.
Yeah, well, you believe it in your heart. We know it's got to be true.
All right, we'll take a break right now. Come back with hour number 2. We're going to finish sorting out what we think will be next year's college football playoff. We're sort of into that. And then we'll move on to some other things. Wichita State played KU over the weekend.
They did.
It was not pretty.
It wasn't. I watched part of it, not a lot of it.
I watched the first half and then a little of the second, and we'll talk about it.
Fair enough.
Stay with us. Hour number 2 coming up. Bob and Jeff, KFH.